Hello, and this is the second episode of Speed and Adrenaline. For those who think the MotorStorm upgrades are far too expensive, like me, and it's only for the holidays, but in this episode we are going to look at the fastest cars in the world. Have you recognized this already? The McLaren F1. Let's take it for a drive, and I shall talk you through what was in 1994 launched the fastest production car in the world. Welcome to Test Drive Limited. Oh yes, that is very, very fast indeed. In 1994, when there was nothing such as today's techniques like ABS or traction control, which this thing doesn't have, this came along and did 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. And it would almost certainly overtake you when it was going flat out, doing 241 miles an hour. 241! There are only few cars which do that the same. Unfortunately, the handling, the steering was a bit heavy, and it wasn't really the easiest car to drive. It is quite tiny though, despite the 6.1 litre BMW V12 in the middle. This is truly a great car. It was so fast that no one would ever think it could ever be beaten, until it was beaten. In early 2005, something unbelievably quick came along, doing 245 miles an hour. The Koenigsegg. Now, we should take it for a drive, obviously, but first you need to know how to get in. Koenigsegg sort of have it as a hobby to make cars as complicated as possible with doors. I mean, the McLaren had those wing doors. Oh, the Koenigsegg, oh no, we want these kind of doors. And the roof lifts out, so the car is a convertible as well. Little 0 to 60 in today's standards with today's safety standards was 3.2 seconds. The same as the McLaren. The top speed, however, is 245 miles an hour. And the power, the McLaren has a pathetic 627 horsepower. This 806 brake horsepower. And you might be thinking the McLaren is difficult to drive. Then getting this. Yes. Yeah, that. It's unbelievably violent, this. Yes. You don't sit in the middle. You just sit in a place where you can't see anything. I mean, look at that roof. And look at the rear window. It's not really an easy car, this. It's also very, very loud. But inevitably, this also got beaten off the top. God's sake. By this. The Bugatti Veyron. This is Need for Speed Undercover, which is a newer game than Test Drive Unlimited. So it doesn't have a in-car camera like the older Test Drive Unlimited. And the handling is worse. The Veyron was launched in late 2005. And it just completely thrashes the old cars. 0 to 60, 2.5 seconds. Top speed, 253 miles per hour. That's a football pitch every second. This is one of the very few cars which gets past the 400 km/h yardstick. But unlike the McLaren or the Koenigsegg, Bugatti did go the trouble of putting the 1,000 horsepower down on the road. That's why they developed an all-new suspension system, an all-new tyre had to be made, even new brakes, and those are massive. It's even got an air brake system to stop it more violently. Now I can't tell you about how it feels to drive. Undercover is just too unrealistic for that. But it is so fast. However, weirdly, they didn't go all the trouble of making it powerful. I mean, they didn't get a small 4-litre engine or so and squeeze 1,000 horsepower out of that. They just gave it 2 4-litre V8 engines. No, not now. Yeah, stupid bugs in Undercover, I know. And then they melted 4 turbos to it, and that's how you create your 1,000 horsepower. Although this is one of the few cars which has 400 km/h, strangely it isn't the first one to achieve that barrier. No, the first one is a car which is one of the rarest cars in the world. The only car rarer than that is the Spiker with 500,000 horsepower, which has the engine in the back and the has front wheel drive. That's the only car which is rarer, because only one unit has been made, and the number of Spikers with like that being made is 0. So that's the only car rarer. Now, I shall tell you that the car which beat the 400 km/h target first was just a concept car, and it was absolute rubbish. This is it. The Chrysler NE412. Good looking, isn't it? And it will give you your adrenaline and speed. Adrenaline because you die all the time, and speed because it does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, and a top speed of 248 miles an hour, which is exactly 400 kilometers an hour. This has, to start with, they took a standard twin-turbo V12 out of the Mercedes 65 AMG, and then they gave it another 2 turbos, making it 850 brake horsepower. And that is considered quite a lot, yes. But this interior is really rubbish, and so is the rest of the car. Conclusions of today. Well, if what you want is speed and adrenaline, go back to that Koenigsegg. The best car here. Is the Veyron.